Guys, I need you to listen up here. Just got my high school diploma, just signed a surfing contract at 18 years old with Rusty Surfboards and Apparel. The very first thing I did, me and my brother went out and bought a house. We bought a house in Satellite Beach on the canal, had a boat lift, got a boat, boom, we had made it. That was the first thing we did. That was the dream. Hey, I'm Cj Hobgood at the Hobgood team. If you're looking to buy or sell houses on the Space Coast, I'm gonna walk you through the next 10 years of my life, basically my 20s, of buying and selling personal property on the Space Coast. And if you stick around to the end, I got this whole segment with Nestment, my friends out in California. They've perfected all the teething process with co-buying. So if you want to get started in real estate, but you don't think you have enough money, you're like, I just want to, they got you covered as far as getting your foot in the game. So, born in Satellite Beach, grew up on DeSoto, North Robert Way to be exact, and moved a little further north, very first house, from 18 to 24 with my brother. Loved this house, went fishing every morning on the Space Coast, mainly at the flats for redfish. We'd wake up at 6, come back at 9 in the morning, check the waves, grab a bagel from Bagel World, and that was our life, traveling, surfing the tour. At 24, had to grow up, so I went and bought a house myself, sold my half to my brother in St. Lucia Court, and I went south to Indy Atlantic, bought a house on the river at 311 Sandpine Road. Loved that house. We would always walk by this lot on North Riverside Drive and we'd be like, oh, it'd be so rad to build a house. We bought that lot, we built a house, moved into there, stayed there for a quick 6 months, and then I went and lived on the other side, so we're on the river, then I went and lived in Indy Atlantic on the other side on the beach at my manager's house, Mitch Varnes. Rad house, and that's how I know a lot about living on the canal, living on the river, obviously Satellite Beach, Indy Atlantic, Indian Harbor, grew up there. And then from there, we had that 07, 08 crash. I went and was like, now's a good time to buy some houses. I went and bought a house in Cocoa. I remember looking at this house and the owner was there and he was just wearing it on his face. He just wanted to get out of this thing. He didn't know where the world was going. I jumped back in the truck. I was on the road at that time with Zach Spurlock, a wonderful realtor in the Space Coast. If you need him, you know where to find him. And we jump in the truck and I say, Zach, what do you think? He's like, I don't know, I think we could probably get a deal. I'm like, what about $90K deal? And he's like, oh no. I was like, busted out my checkbook, wrote a check, gave it to Zach. Zach went over and presented to him, came back, said, hey, we got ourselves a deal. And I do remember, because we used to sit at the closing table with the owner and the buyer. And I just remember him not making much money off that deal. And I also bought a house, it was a townhouse in Satellite Beach for 90 grand as well. Love that townhouse. We used to just spend the beach days there. It was awesome. And then from there, I went actually and lived at my brother's house on Tropical Trail. He was selling that house. It actually ended up being a short sale at the time. I lived there with my sister for a little bit. Yeah, those are I know that's a lot to sort of digest and all those houses and everything, but yeah, that's my experience in my early 20s, or through my 20s to my early 30s on the Space Coast. It's fun living all those places. You really get to experiment and then traveling the world and then coming back and being able to, just pass that knowledge along, obviously with my wife and real estate. So, and then now guys, I want you to check out this segment with co-buying with Nestment, and let me know what you think. Subscribe, hit all that stuff down below.
CJ, thanks for sharing your real estate journey and how you and your brother started by buying your first home together in Florida. I'm Mark, one of the co-founders of Nestment, and whether you're interested in a primary home, a vacation house, or investment property, we help friends and family, just like CJ and his brother, co-buy homes together. Nestment's dedicated to improving access to home ownership. With our co-buying platform, you have the power to buy any home in the U.S. together. Like CJ mentioned, fishing and surfing every day, we also help groups find the right locations that meet their lifestyles. Our platform's features are designed to simplify and streamline the co-buying experience. You can invite your friends, align goals, and outline property preferences. You can also explore listings and markets, and save and rank those homes as a team. Your group's Nestment relationship manager will also connect you with key co-buy experts like agents, lenders, attorneys, and property managers along the way. If the idea of evaluating listings and markets and seeing if you can afford a home with your friends, or how much is it going to make over time, or who owes what, when there's something really cool we developed. It's called a Nestment. So with a Nestment, you can instantly see how homes are projected to appreciate and generate rental income over time. It's a valuable tool to help you make informed decisions without needing to create Excel docs or G sheets with complicated equations that somebody in your group is having to put together manually. All right, let's take a look at one of its listings on the Space Coast in Cocoa Beach. As you can see, just quickly, there's a ton of listings on this little peninsula, and we calculate a rate of return and rental cash flow in this view for all of the listings. And the first thing that jumps out to me is that it has a positive rate of return versus these other listings. You can already see it's a great property in the area because most of these listings in this area are projected to have a negative rate of return every single year. So already off to a great start. So we'll click it. It's about $600,000, 1,500 square feet. And again, it's on that Space Coast. So 2 bodies of water on either side of you. This would be a great vacation home or Airbnb or both. And we'll scroll down and look at this Nestment projection. And so we calculate this for every listing, like I mentioned. And at the very top, this is the rate of return that I was talking about. And that combines rental cash flow and appreciation. So the equity that you're building over time, plus the appreciation of the home. So let's say you and your friend don't have $68,000, and maybe that means you want a third person. So when you have 2 friends, including yourself, the upfront cost goes down to $45,000. And again, let's say, hey, you don't have $45,000. What does a group of 4 people look like? $34,000 upfront costs to go in on this awesome home. You can also play around with the daily rental rate. So this is how much you can charge on average for this home on Airbnb or VRBO. And then we also pull in an average occupancy rate. So it looks like this is projected to be about 55% rented throughout the year. So you can learn more about the home if you scroll further down the listing, and you can actually see what similar properties on Airbnb in that neighborhood are going for per night and what they look like. So you can get an idea of kind of renovations you'd need to get this house up to Airbnb standards. A great home in this area. If you guys are interested, hop on to Nestment, take a look at this listing for yourself. We love working with agents like CJ and the Hobgood team because they understand the financial freedom real estate can create. If you've been thinking about co-buying, or if you're just hearing about it, check us out at nestment.com, look at listings, look at markets, and get more information there. You can get in contact with us and actually talk to us and learn more about the process.